Hey there. Hey, it's Deb from Bowl Me Over, and as we're kind of waiting for people to join, thought I'd do a quick Facebook Live today. So I'm going to just give it a few minutes and kind of chat back and forth. So before we get started, though, let's just see. I'm just going to wait just for a minute, make sure we get some people joining us and that I'm live. Looks like so. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you being here today and taking some time out of your day to watch. Hey, Marisa, how you doing? I'm using my phone. It's really far away. I have my, so if I miss your comment, I apologize for that, but I do appreciate you tuning in. Again, this is Deb, and my page is Bowl Me Over. And hey, Mary, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here. I'm doing a challenge with my friend Mary, and it's Bloggers Play Chopped. And what we do is we pick 5 ingredients out of our pantry, hoping that our colleague Mary has maybe 3 of those 5, and we can do a Facebook Live with what you have on hand. Now my challenge here was when I didn't pick the 5, I actually asked my husband to, and if you know Dan, is to love Dan, and you know that he loves sweets. So I sent him in the pantry, said, you know, knock yourself out, whatever you want to grab, and he grabbed sprinkles, marshmallows, coconut, and we threw in like sweetened condensed milk and nuts. So part of our chop today is going to be that. So that was a challenge. I was thinking dinner stuff, so we just thought that was really funny and kind of silly and great. So anyway, so I thought I'd show you today how to make dinner and dessert here at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so what I'm starting with is dinner, and it's going to go in the slow cooker. And that is going to be bean soup. It is my go-to soup. It is probably my favorite soup that I do all the time. I always have like frozen soup in the freezer, or soup in the freezer. Always have bean soup in the freezer. It's easy to make. It's inexpensive. And I'm thinking with all of the shopping that we've all done recently, you just might have some beans in your pantry right now. So let me show you how easy it is to cook them. Now, I'm probably dating myself here because things have changed quite a bit. But the first thing that I do when I'm cooking beans is I sort the beans. And again, we're just making some bean soup. We're jumping right in here. If I miss one of your questions, please be patient. I don't always see them come up across the screen unless I'm staring like right at my phone. So I will answer you when we're done here. So what I'm doing is I'm sorting the beans, and I'm just picking out any beans that are blemished, and sometimes, not as often as it used to be, but sometimes used to see like even dirt clods in here. So again, just picking out, making sure that there's nothing in here that shouldn't be. And you know, it just takes a quick minute to do this. I do love bean soup. It's easy. You can make it as fancy as you want. You can make it as simple as you want. We're just making a simple soup today. And let's say I have Great Northern beans, but you could do this with kidney beans, black-eyed peas, any dried beans, split peas, really, like I said, any dried beans that you have would be wonderful with this. So those are all my bean soup. One more that I picked out. And the next thing we're going to do is rinse them, because remember, these, you know, come from the ground. They come from outside, and there's a good chance they could have, you know, like dirt or whatever on them. So just rinse them. As soon as the water runs clear, one more I'm going to pick out, you're good to go. So first things first, beans go in the pot. That's simple. To that, I'm going to add onions, which I've already chopped. Some parsley, where'd that come from? Some celery, right on top. Some carrots. So it's not only like super good for you. It's pretty too. It's very nutritious. And just some simple spices, a bay leaf, some pepper, and red pepper flakes. If you think of the red pepper flakes and you think, oh no, I don't want that, it's going to be too hot, it actually isn't hot. It really just gives it background and depth. So let's see. I've never done it with beans in a slow cooker. Actually, the slow cooker is my favorite way, Mary, to cook beans. I sometimes do the pre-soak, sometimes put them on the stove top, often put them in the Instant Pot, but I think the beans get more tender, and it's just more sumptuous in the slow cooker. It's my favorite way. So again, bay leaf, red pepper flakes, and black pepper. I'm going to toss that right on top. And then, last but not least, this was in my freezer, is a ham hock. And this is, it's just a smoked ham hock. It has a little bit of meat on it, but tons and tons of flavor. So I'm going to put that right on top. When you think of a ham hock, it's kind of like opening up your spice cabinet and picking a little tiny pinch of all the different spices in there, and that's going to be the flavor. Hang on a sec. Sorry about that. Hang on. With all the deliveries and things that we have, that's what happens, right? So, sorry, it's going to take just a minute, but they'll stop barking eventually. Like you, we've had tons of deliveries. Abby! Sorry. Okay, so that's pretty much done, hopefully. Ooh, that sounds perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so what I was saying is the ham hock makes for like so much flavor. It adds so much flavor to whatever it is. Stop it. Our mail lady came by and that's who it was there. So now to my soup. I'm going to add about 8 cups of water. And just that easily, that's going to be my dinner tonight. All right. We should add just a little bit more. And on goes the lid. I don't really need the probe. I'm not cooking meat, but I want to make sure that it seals well. So I'm just going to insert the probe in it, regardless. Normally what I would do is put this on, oops, hang on a sec here. On low for 8 to 10 hours. I prefer cooking beans on low. For this particular one, I put it on, because I started a little bit later. Normally I put this on about 7 o'clock, 7 to 8 o'clock. So I put it on high for 2 hours, and I'm going to reduce it to low. So now we get to Dan's portion of the chopped live, and that is the sweets. So with this, I was like, okay, sprinkles, marshmallows, sweetened condensed milk, coconut, and nuts. So I decided that I would make my version of a payday bar. I'm going to try. You're going to help me. You're going to tell me what you think of this. So on my induction stove, and this should heat up in just a minute, I'm going to start with, so it's kind of like making Rice Krispie squares, which we all know is like the best thing in the world. Like, who wouldn't love Rice Krispie squares? So I'm going to start with a little bit of butter in my pot. And to that, I'm going to add my sweetened condensed milk. And again, I appreciate you sticking with me during the barkathon. Sorry about that. But that's just life, right? My husband was saying, he's working from the house, and he was saying like everybody is having that same issue right now with barking dogs and kids and crazy things happening as things go. So that's just life. So into my pot, 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. And, you know, like, if this works, and I think that it will, I will put this on the blog. But this is the first time I'm making something. Usually I make something like at least 2 or 3 times before it ever goes on the blog. So, so be patient as you watch for that. When I think of Payday Bar, I think of this fabulous sweet and salty like nougat. So to add to this, I want to put some peanut butter. So that's what I have going here. And I'm guessing that's going to be maybe 3/4 of a cup. Again, when I put it on the blog, I'll be sure and measure it so I can give you exact amounts. So we're going to let that kind of cook and do its thing. So while that's happening, let me just stir this. And what we want to do is get this all melted and creamy, and then I'm going to add the marshmallows. So yeah, kind of like Rice Krispie squares. So we'll see. I'm giving it my best. I wanted to give like a shout out for, and I'm like all teary with this. But for all the people doing all the wonderful things out there. I know what people are like laughing. Debbie said she always tears, but my friend Stephanie, who is feeding homeless people with a safe distance, of course. Shout out for her with that. Super cool. For all those folks making masks and neat stuff, that's awesome. I don't know why, it just makes me happy when I tear, but okay. Enough of that. So that's, I just want to say my appreciation. So, phew. Onward. So to my nougat, and you can see this now, right? Yeah, you can kind of see that. Look how I can smell the peanut butter. The peanut butter obviously goes with the nuts that we have, which are peanuts. And next comes marshmallows. So I'm thinking we try 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to do about half the bag. Oops. Marshmallow down, that was to the dogs. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I think I probably need more than that. Oh, Corgi just got a marshmallow. 20. 26. I'm going to put 30 in there. So he grabbed a marshmallow and he ran outside. He is the oddest dog when it comes to textures. I don't quite understand him and textures. It's really funny. It kind of cracks me up. But when we give him something new, you know, he's about a year old, he touches and feels and bites and carries things, and so he's really kind of goofy. So it's getting a little warm down on the bottom, so let me try to turn it down just a smidge and keep stirring it. So again, this is that peanut buttery goodness, that nougat that's going to be in the center of the Payday Bar. So while I'm stirring that, I have a pan that I have sprayed with nonstick spray, and then have lined with parchment paper, and I've also sprayed that with nonstick, because this is obviously going to be sticky and gooey and rich and quite fabulous. So this will be, you know, we definitely don't want it to stick to the pan. So the marshmallows are starting to melt, so wonderful. And this won't take much longer at all. So like in the span of just a minute or two. Okay, good. Had me worried. I thought I'd have to go and get my hubby to do this, which wouldn't work because he's working anyway, but we'll get these bars going. And again, this is Vloggers Play Chopped, and my buddy Mary and I are doing this. If you, and you can find hers, she made ice cream this week. It's on restlesschipotle.com. There we go. So this is coming together nice. So just like you'd make for Rice Krispie squares, just melt all that together, and it's making an amazing nougat, amazing center for your bars. And it won't be much longer. This will be ready. So I'm going to take, I'm guessing that's going to be about 2 cups. In a perfect world, these peanuts would be salted, but I have unsalted peanuts. The salt would be better because it would make it a little more, the salty sweet, like balance each other's flavors off a little bit better. So I would recommend salted if you can find that. So here we have this amazing nougat. To that I'm going to add, another part of our challenge was coconut, so I'm going to add probably about 1 cup of coconut. This is what I had in the pantry, which was shredded non-sweetened coconut, which I think is fine because this is going to be plenty sweet as it is. And this is just about ready. This is, you know, this can't not be good, right? So perfect. I'm going to turn that off, and this is almost melted. So I'm wearing a hat, so I don't, for 2 reasons. Number 1, so I don't touch my hair like I did last week when I did my chopped. And number 2, because I have this white stripe going down the middle of my forehead. So I was like, when I do these, maybe I should wear like a different hat every week. Just to be silly, but okay, so we have this, it's melted, it's perfect, and I'm going to pour it, you know, I'm going to spread this out just a little bit more, pour it right over this peanut mixture, and you know, like I said, this is a little bit of a, you know, I haven't done this before, so hopefully this turns out, and in theory I think this should be amazing, but I guess we'll know for sure, right? So, hang on a sec here. I'm going to let that cool and spread this out just a little bit. I think probably what I should have done here is put it in like a smaller pan, and maybe that's when I write the recipe, that's what I'll come up with. So, well, that looks pretty perfect, doesn't it? I'm going to top that with more peanuts. Top that with my sprinkles, because that was part of the challenge too. And I remember asking my friend Angie, I was like, she always has the best sprinkles. I'm like, where did you find those sprinkles? She goes, I just mix them all together, and I don't know why it never occurred to me to mix like little bits of everything together. So, so there we go. I'm going to just lightly press those in to the bars. And what do you think? So that's my challenge. That challenge is using sprinkles, sweetened condensed milk, marshmallows, coconut, and sprinkles. What about one more thing? And nuts. So there we go. Bloggers Play Chopped. I'm going to refrigerate this for probably 2 hours and just kind of see how it turns out. I'll come back on and put a little photo in there for you after this is done. This soup will take, it'll be done by 5. So dinner's done, dessert is made, my weekend's set. So that's really good. So if as you're like coming through and you're trying to figure out what to make for dinner, I know that supplies are quite scarce. So don't be afraid to message me. It's best to probably email me. I pay better attention to my email than I do on Facebook. But Deborah, DEBRA at bowl-me-over.com. And ask me, like, oh my gosh, Deb, I have black beans and a can of salsa. What can I do with that? I need to feed 4 people. I can help you with that. So don't be afraid to pop a quick message, pop a quick email, let me know, and I'd be happy to help. And we're going to do this next week. I'm not sure what the ingredients are, but we'd love to have you join us. If you're a food blogger and you want to play too, love to have you do that also. So anyway, peanut butter bars. Have yourself the best day you can, and I do appreciate you joining me. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll talk to you soon.